Hey, what's up guys, Los here from the Big Retro Show, and this is my unpopular gaming opinion. Yes, it is time for me to talk to you guys about Aliens Colonial Marines. Now, Aliens Colonial Marines is a game that came out on the PS3, the Xbox 360, as well as the PC back in 2013. And the gaming media, they didn't like it so much. They said some pretty mean things about it. But after playing this game, I'm here to tell you that the game isn't as bad as the gaming journalists would have you believe. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about why. So let's get into it. The Aliens movies are some of the best horror films in movie history. There's something so eerie about the quietness of space mixed with the terror of the aliens. Aliens have had an interesting history in video games. Most of the games that I have played are actually really good. Aliens 3 on the NES, the SNES, and the Genesis were all great games. Then there's the arcade Alien games that were excellent in their own right. With a few notable exceptions, the Alien video games helped cement the franchise as an overall great gaming experience. And that's why it was a little surprising to me that the gaming media hated Aliens Colonial Marines. Game Informer's Jeff Cork wrote, "Aliens Colonial Marines' odious mess can be smelled from low orbit, and only the most ardent Aliens fans will find anything redeeming." He gave it a score of 4 out of 10, indicating the game is bad. While some of the things work as planned, the majority of this time either malfunctions or it is so dull that the game falls short as a whole. IGN's Tristan Ogilvie wrote, "Perhaps the biggest reason that Colonial Marines fails to impress is due to the fact that so many of the concepts that felt fresh in James Cameron's movie have been replicated so often in the first-person shooter genre that they now feel like cliches." He gave the game a score of 4.5, which means Aliens Colonial Marines is an uninspired and unfinished game and not remotely worthy as a sequel to the Aliens film. Boy, oh boy, were these dudes wrong about this game, and so was everybody else that dunked on this game. Aliens Colonial Marines is not Call of Duty. It's an Aliens game, and anyone going into this game thinking that it will play like a COD game will be disappointed. But anyone who loves the Alien films and atmospheric slow burn shooters with an emphasis on story will have a good time. The game is a canonical entry into the Aliens franchise, and it takes place 13 weeks after the events that transpired in Aliens. You play as Corporal Christopher Winter, who along with his fellow Marines are sent to investigate a distress signal issued from the Sulaco, which if you recall is a spaceship where Ripley provided a beatdown on the Xenomorph Queen. Anywho, you board the Sulaco, weapons hot, with your fellow Marines to investigate what took place during the events of Aliens. Just being on the Sulaco is a huge fan service, and admittedly, if you didn't watch Aliens, then this will probably do nothing for you, but you would be hard pressed to find somebody who watched Aliens and didn't like it. In fact, the game goes out of the way to provide fan service with tons of movie sets and props direct from the Aliens movie. The number of collectibles such as audio logs and dog tags add some additional fun to the game. Aside from the Sulaco, you will also revisit the LV-426 moon that is infested with xenomorphs in search of a way back to Earth. Let's talk about the combat in this game. I'm not going to lie, this is a basic first-person shooter that gives you the option to swap weapons, grab ammo, find weapons, and refill your health, but it also has a couple of dynamics that set it apart. First, most weapons have a secondary firing mode. Some of the rifles come with grenade launchers, while others come with a flamethrower. It's not exactly groundbreaking stuff here, but it helps add some strategy to the combat. The other gameplay mechanic that is worthy of a mention is a few last-ditch efforts when a xenomorph gets close. Probably one of the easiest to pull off is hitting the R3 button to knock them back and stun them, long enough to fill them with lead. If the alien latches onto you, you can continuously press the square button, I was playing this game on the PS3, to knock them off, and you shoot them with your sidearm. The other maneuver you can pull off is to place a gun under their chin and pull the trigger, providing an insta-kill. Aside from the aliens, you also take on human enemies that are the private army of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Basically, the dudes who are trying to weaponize the xenomorphs for fun and profit. They are the Umbrella Corporation of the Aliens universe. The enemies in this game are no pushovers, especially the xenomorphs. They aren't really easy to target because they constantly crawl on walls and on ceilings and are generally difficult to shoot unless they are out in the open. They also like to run away from you, which can be frustrating. The other thing about them is that they will pop up directly from underneath you, above you, or behind you, and will take you out while you are shooting at a faraway enemy. I played this game on Soldier difficulty, which I believe amounts to a normal difficulty, and the game boasts 2 additional difficulty levels above that. I was dying quite a bit throughout my playthrough, and so this is why I don't get why some reviewers call the xenomorphs pushovers. Increasing the difficulty level should take care of that problem for you, sport. Some of the firefights were easier than others, especially when you encounter a group of Weyland Corp mercs fighting against aliens, and you can pick them off. But some of the gun battles are downright nasty, especially when they involve hordes of xenomorphs who can kill you within seconds. The game gives you a life bar and also allows you to don armor that reminded me quite a bit of Doom, as a matter of fact. And I found that this was helpful. You can regenerate your life with medical packs or by standing still for a few seconds to let your life regenerate. It will only regenerate in this manner if one of the segments of the life bar does not reach 0. You can also regenerate your armor by finding armor pieces throughout the levels, or full sets that grant you instant full armor. Your squad mates in Colonial Marines are generally helpful. They fire when they need to, and sometimes they see aliens that I don't see. The aliens seem to go for you even when your squad mates are nearer, but hey, that's what you want. You want them to come after you rather than your squad mates having all the fun. The weapons in this game are awesome. When you wield the pulse rifle, the gun actually fires like it does in the films. It's super satisfying getting short bursts in and defeating the aliens. You can also equip the shotgun that defies the logic of shotguns, meaning it has a crazy long range. You can kill enemies farther than you could using a shotgun in any other FPS, and I have to say, although it's not realistic, I wasn't hating it. You can also use a flamethrower to barbecue your enemies alive, but perhaps my favorite weapon is a smart gun that targets your enemies for you and is oh so powerful. Your arsenal is rounded out by grenades and the occasional portable turret that you find during certain parts of the game. One of the cool things about the weapons is that you get to find 6 legendary weapons that belong to the characters in Aliens, including Hicks' shotgun, Gorman's pistol, Hudson's pulse rifle, Vasquez's smart gun and pistol, and Frost's flamethrower. They are basically stronger versions of the standard weapons you find in the game, and they are a joy to use. Now let's talk about the graphics, because they have a lot to do with the way that the reviewers scored the game. To me, the graphics are dark and moody and atmospheric. I like the way the developers use lighting in this game, and although it's not perfect, it fits the mood quite well. You will be playing some of the game in silence. The music kicks in during firefights and other tense scenes. Now, the reviewers will have you believing that the graphics were low quality, but these are lies. Take a look at them and let me know in the comments if you think they suck. The critics also complained about technical issues, such as bugs in the game, but during my playthrough I didn't find any of these. Now, this could be because the game was patched since its 2013 release, and so if the game has bugs in it, the reviewers were correct to point them out. But as of 2022, the game did not have any bugs that I noticed. The other criticism that the reviewers lobbied against Colonial Marines is that it failed to deliver the thrills and chills that the movies delivered. Well, duh, we are talking about a video game here, not the movies, but let's just go with it. I found the game to have me on the edge of my seat from the first mission to the last. There is one part in the game where you are stripped of your weapons and must quietly sneak through the level, avoiding these aliens that turn into stone and come alive if you make too much noise. I thought that was pretty cool. And sure, the game didn't invoke the fear and chills that Alien Isolation delivered, for example, but it had its moments nonetheless. Finally, I want to talk about the story. The graphic cutscenes and the voice acting in this game are actually pretty good. You go in to investigate what happened to Ripley and her crew and quickly find yourself in deep trouble with the aliens. And if that isn't enough, you have to take out Weyland Corp goons. At times, the game made me feel as if the mission was hopeless, especially when your ship, the Sephora, blows up in front of your eyes, which happens early on in the game, so I don't feel that it's a spoiler. But the game's storytelling, and especially the pacing, do a good job of giving you hope that everything is going to be okay. Of course it's not, but we are talking about an Aliens game. The one issue that I had with the story was the ending. Well, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I didn't learn what I needed to learn. So most of the reviewers say that Colonial Marines is pretty much a mediocre game, but I'm here to tell you that it's not. It's actually a fun game. You can't go into this game thinking it's going to be like Call of Duty or Halo or even Doom, because it's not. It's Aliens, and it is a different experience. No first-person shooter, in my opinion, should be the same. And yes, you know, the game isn't 100% perfect, but it definitely isn't mediocre. It's a more like an above average kind of game. And for the price of roughly $7 to cop this game, I highly recommend that you guys give it a go and play it. Well, that is going to be it for my unpopular gaming opinion. If you have an unpopular gaming opinion and would like to be featured on the Big Retro Show, give me a note, a comment, drop me an email, a tweet, a DM, PM me. You guys know what to do. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this episode. And until the next one, I will see you on the Big Retro Show. Peace!